Unfortunately, no. This is not a free Asus X570 Plus Wi-Fi gaming motherboard. All of these lovely features. Well, if it were this board, it would have all these lovely features. But no, this is quite a bit older than that. Just happens to be in this box. And I picked up for free that I did not really expect to actually get my hands on because the listing had been up for a good month, 2 months, somewhere in there. And usually stuff like this goes almost immediately. So it took a little while. The guy was a little slow to respond, but I did end up getting it. And this is what we have. Well, first of all, what we have is cable mod stuff, and if somebody wants to use that, be my guest. I don't know if it works. I don't particularly care. It's probably illegal to show this, but again, I don't know, and not knowing is not caring. So, this is all just related to the Asus motherboard, which is worthless to me. So we have this, which I guess was part of the case. Probably the case. There's an 80 conductor IDE ribbon. Pretty ubiquitous, nothing too fancy there. There's a thing with a cable, little cable mesh thing on it. That is a floppy cable. There's a 40 conductor IDE ribbon that is actually missing the, what do they call that? The indicator pin. The key pin, it's missing or it has the key pin drilled out. So these are pretty useful for older motherboards that don't have the key pin on them, where you're expected to follow the color on the side of the ribbon. So that should be useful for some other project. We have this. I don't know what this actually is. Well, other than the fact it's a sound card, I know that, but what sound card it is and what chip that is, I really can't tell. So maybe I'll go look that up later. No doubt it's some generic thing that's probably not any better than the onboard sound on most motherboards. Maybe slightly better than something like an analog sound max, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't think that's an ESS audio chip either. I think that's somebody else. This is interesting. We have a 40.8 gigabyte Samsung hard drive. So that's kind of neat. And a 3.5-inch floppy drive. This is a Sony drive. December of 2003. Is that similar to this? I'm willing to bet probably. But I don't see... No, 2001, so the hard drive is quite a bit older. And then there's a motherboard. And an I/O plate. Okay, so here's the board. Somebody's probably already noticed the problem right away, but we'll get to that in a second. The irony is certainly not lost on me that this is a gigabyte motherboard, and yet it was in an Asus box. I don't know, I think I'd take Gigabyte over Asus any day. But this is a GA, I believe that's 8S650 GXM. So it's a pretty old board. I don't think there's really any dates on any of the parts here, other than the ones that I've already shown. So I guess 401365, that's the same thing that's down there. I don't see any real dates. There's a 302 on that, which might mean 2002. Probably somewhere between 2001 and 2003 is my guess. I don't really know what CPU is on this. One thing that is interesting that I'll mention right off the bat, you've probably noticed, is the fact that the cooler is kind of sitting a little proud, as you can see there, and when I try to close it, that is what ends up happening. The tab is missing from that side. So unfortunately, I guess I can't actually put that heatsink in there. I'm going to have to because it's sitting wrong. I'm going to have to fix it. But you can see all the caps are good. I don't know if they're necessarily good quality caps, but they're all good. So that's, you know, good enough. That's where the front panel audio header would go. And your CD audio in. It's a pretty decent selection of stuff. And I guess it doesn't support Wake on LAN, because that's not populated unless the onboard supports it and you just can't use it on the external, which wouldn't surprise me. I think it's got 10100 Ethernet on board, and that's it. I don't know where the chip for that is. I don't know if the CMOS battery is good, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to deal with this heatsink, see if I can get that back into place, and I'm going to get a power supply, and a monitor, and a keyboard, and maybe a mouse too, and let's see if we can make a computer out of all of this. Okay, I think we've got a computer here, including a really cheap power supply. Don't ever use these for anything you care about, and even for the stuff you don't, be careful. So, let's go ahead and see if any of it works, or if it all just blows up in my face. It really does not want to sit in there. So, I'm gonna have to change that heatsink, but at least change the cradle. So, for a short test, it should be okay. That's all this is anyway. Okay. I think it's powered on. Is the power supply on? The power supply is on. Does the power supply work? I don't know. I don't see a green standby LED. It's not a good sign. And this is not labeled very well as to what the power switch is. I can't really tell. Guessing it's this. Well, it's that. The computer works. DDR333, CMOS battery, delete to enter setup. I'm going to check the hardware monitor here for a second. Yeah, that heatsink is not sitting on there very good. So that will have to be dealt with. But the computer itself works. The drive is set to a slave for some reason. But I think everything is, set reasonably in here. Yeah, it seems reasonable. I'll set it up to my liking, and then we'll see where we go from there. But it works. Alright, let's see what it does. Got a floppy seek. And Windows XP. Cool. It'd almost be better if I released this heatsink. And it could actually sit on the CPU. I thought it was okay, but it turns out it's really not. Oh, good lord. So, at least it didn't do anything racy or anything like that when I turned it on, but... Oh, what's going on here? What do we got? So we got Windows Genuine Disadvantage stuff. No antivirus. Let's see, is it even a legal copy of Windows? Will it even tell me? Set video mode to OpenGL. It's got Skype on it, like an extremely old version. I'm not really sure it's... Explorer just kind of died on me. Okay, here we go. That's not a bad little chip. Pentium 4 2.6. Windows XP Pro. Service Pack 3. So, I mean, who knows? What it's running as far as software goes. It's not very fast. Of course, it's only 256 megs of RAM. PCMCIA controller. I'm not sure why that's showing up on a desktop computer, but sure. The VGA is not seen. It's SIS video, I can tell you that already. Oh look, yeah, microtorrent. So this thing's probably got malware all over it. BitTornado? Macromedia. Does it have Flash on it? Dreamweaver. Huh. I haven't seen that on a system in ages. So, I had started to record a segment of video talking about what you're looking at on your screen, which is the toolbars and Internet Explorer, and I was going to mention all kinds of things about, you know, the way that it used to be, where everybody had thousands upon thousands of toolbars loaded on their browsers, so it was like you couldn't really see the actual web page. But I realized I actually forgot to record the video, and I cut it short because I had leaned over and accidentally hit the space bar. And I'm not sure what you'd call it. I think it's like the URL suggestions drop down or something. But what showed up in there were a bunch of porn sites. So that's brilliant. Apparently I cannot find a single solitary computer lately that does not have porn on the hard drive. I don't have anything else to say about that, really. I will also say that the version of Skype that was on the machine, I think it was like version 5 or something. It was before Microsoft bought Skype. We'll put it that way. So very, very old version. So what do we got here? Well, we got a system that's running Windows XP. It's got torrents all over it, and apparently it's been used to watch porn at some point in in its life. So I think the first thing I'm going to do with that drive when I bring all this stuff in is I'm going to hit it with boot and nuke and just get rid of all of the junk that's on it, because I don't want to deal with that. We'll just put it that way. I'm pretty sure that the existing install on the IBM SFF computer, which is what I plan to use this board to replace because it's got good caps and it's pretty much the same age as that system, but I'm pretty sure that that's got an Intel chipset, so the likelihood that that existing Windows install will boot on this SIS thing is probably pretty low. Fortunately, I think the drivers are available for this board, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. But I think the last thing I'm going to do, I am going to go ahead and try that sound card just to see what it does. Okay, I did plug it in, but I don't think it's actually working, because even though I've got stuff under sound, video, and game controllers with the onboard audio disabled, I don't think that these correspond to anything, because you can see that's empty. Whatever, maybe the card's dead. Probably not useful. I may try it in something else, but as far as this is concerned, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else that I need to share with this, so we'll end the video with that.